Our friends at Hasbro Toy have been pumping out product, and today we got 3 new Jake the Snake Roberts retros, and we're going to take a look at them and compare them to the original Hasbro. Stay tuned. All right, so we have 3 new Jake the Snake Roberts Grapplers and Gimmicks retros from Hasbro Toy, or should I say Mitchy Claus, because we also got the new Santa Claus retro, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to show it to you really quickly instead of unboxing it. So basically, it is an all-new mold for Santa Claus, which I think is awesome and works with wrestling because every year at Christmas time, Santa Claus makes an appearance in some way, shape, or form. So many times over the years, a superstar has been under the beard, hat, and the red and the white. So you could easily have this, switch them out for somebody else, and be like, oh, that's who was Santa Claus this year. So I think it's a pretty cool concept by Mitch's account. As I said, has a pretty standard Santa Claus suit, and the articulation is right below the belt. So when it's lined up, it's pretty seamless. It looks like he doesn't even have waist articulation. Fist on the left side, open hand for his sack on the right. That's right, his sack. He's got a hat on his head, fluffy beard. He's got his boots with the buckle. Here is his sack full of toys or whatever he's given. Put right in his hand, draped over his shoulder, and there he is. He also comes with an additional Santa hat, and the reason behind this is for you to put it on another retro figure. It's just like added bonus, added value to the whole thing. So pretty cool. But today, what we're going to be talking about is not Santa Claus. We're going to be talking about Jake the Snake Roberts, and we're going to be comparing his 3 new retros to his original WWF Hasbro. Now, there are 4 Grapplers and Gimmicks Jakes. Here we have 3. There is also a 1991 one in the blue tights. So that is not in stock yet. So we just got these 3. And we're going to compare them to the original WWF Hasbro, which is an iconic, historical Hall of Fame figure in my opinion. I love the stance on it. I think the likeness on Jake's perfect. I love the snake, how he drapes around him. He's got the punch, one of my favorite actions in the line. So we're going to see how these 3 new Jakes hold up to this iconic, legendary one. And we're going to see. That Santa hat is way too big for Jake, I'll tell you that. But we're going to see how it fits on these other Jakes. And we're going to start off in chronological order because, as I said, these are from different years. Over here in the green, we have 1990. The black is 1991. The white is 1992 from WrestleMania 8. This is from Tuesday in Texas with Macho Man. And then over here, believe it or not, this gear is actually, interestingly enough, the gear that he's wearing on the card for his WWF Hasbro, which I should have pulled off the wall to show you, but the image that they have on the WWF Hasbro is him in this gear. So I think that is a genius touch on Mitch's part. But he does the snake snare. And one thing before I open this I want to talk about is each figure is different. All the heads are different. Okay, so this head and the white tights head are very similar. However, this one has the sculpted bangs here. This one has the sculpted bangs, but he's grimacing on his face. So they're all completely different, which I think is a pretty exciting touch from Mitch's part. Plus, they all have a different right hand and a different snake. There's so many different things about these, so he did a great job differentiating these. On the back, we have that artwork right there. I don't believe this one has a date on it for us to see the concept art to in-hand timeline, but we are here to open this bad boy up, so we're going to rip him off the card. One of the things that I'm most excited about this, believe it or not, is this right here. So, my Hasbro heads out here, they recognize this, okay? From the original WWF Hasbro advertisements, there were the, of course, never released Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine, but there was also an advertisement that had a ring with an apron, a cloth apron, and then a Jake the Snake Roberts with a cloth bag. We never got that in the Hasbro line until now. Now we have a bag with each Jake the Snake Roberts from Grapplers and Gimmicks. So I love this. But let's take a look at the figure. First off, I love how the snake is wrapped around him in the package, right? So in his hand, it goes up over his shoulder, behind his head, down his shoulder, wraps around his leg, right to his foot. I mean, such a nice touch on Mitch's part. But we're going to take this out of his hand for the time being so that we can look at it. As you can see, he's very, very tangled. I'm curious if he'll fit in the bag. But I think if we just kind of follow the shape of the snake, we can get him in there. All right. So let's see. Yep. Easily get him in there. And I think it would be pretty cool if you shoved him in there and kind of had Damien just sticking out of the bag like that. Right? Peeking out, ready to attack. The Jake feels great. He's in a nice, vibrant green, like a grassy green. On the side, we have that image, that Medusa-style image of Jake with all the snakes coming out of his head. Nothing on the back, and then a red snake kind of winded up down his right leg. The boots are typical snake skin, and I would say much better than the original WWF Hasbro. I mean, these don't even look like snakeskin boots, in my opinion. Not taking anything away from it, because again, that is a huge part of my childhood. Not dissing it whatsoever. It's still a great figure. I love that he kind of kept the idea of having him have the punch arm. But the likeness on this head looks just like Jake. All right, check out the mustache. The hair is there. He's kind of got that evil stare. The one eyebrow is peeking up like you don't know what this man's about to do. Jake was a very creepy, sinister kind of presence for me as a child. So let's see. And there they are side by side, spinning around. A little bit taller than the WWF Hasbro, okay? However, you'll notice the WWF Hasbro has bent knees. His knees are bent, as most Hasbros are. This Jake is standing straight-legged. So I would say completely in scale, in my opinion. The slight amount of height that he has on the Hasbro is really just accounted for in the fact that he's standing straight and tall. So we're going to wrap him back up in Damien because honestly, I can't imagine anybody not displaying him like that because, I mean, the snake just perfectly wraps around him. Only problem is I wish he had another open hand so that he can hold this bag, but I guess we'll kind of just lay it on the ground next to him, which is exactly what we're going to do right here. And now we are going to move on to 1991 Jake. We just looked at 1990. Now it's 1991 Jake in the black tights. He's got that coal miners type glove on. He's got the Cobra, which is Macho Fran's favorite. She really liked that Cobra. She's a Mustang girl, so the Shelby Cobra really stands out for her. He does the Cobra Crunch. You'll notice he has a different image of Jake on this one. Kind of snarling. Very similar to the figure itself. On the back, again, we have more artwork, different artwork than the original, which is one reason I love the carding on this, the Grapplers and Gimmicks, right? A lot of these retro companies do that, and honestly, after I open them, I keep the carding because I just think this is such an asset to have because it's so fun to see how it went from the original design process to the in-hand piece. So very, very cool, but we're going to open this up and see what this one's all about. Again, we have another bag, the exact same, has the drawstring, and it's a working drawstring. Look at that, which is pretty cool. It doesn't even have to have that, doesn't have to have the string in there, but just went the extra mile. And it's canvas. It's a good quality, man. This is not some cheap, thin stuff. This is good stuff. All right, let's see. So this snake is different. Less winding, and I would say it's a shorter length for the figure. He's got no white underbelly. It's all green with the black stripes, and then has the red mouth. The fangs are there, and the red eyes, as you can see. Pretty evil looking Cobra right there. Just as evil looking is this man, Jake the Snake Roberts, getting ready to put that Cobra right on Mr. Macho Man Randy Savage. So we've gotten this style tights in the Legends line from the Elites, but now we have it in retro style with those red, yellow, and white flames going up the legs. As I said before, he did a great job on these snakeskin boots. Very authentic looking, much better than the original WWF Hasbro. He's got that DDT arm, which is perfect for playability, right? Throwing that punch arm on the right and the Mr. Perfect Plex arm on the left makes it, for lack of a better word, perfect. Because he can grab the snake here and do a DDT on this side. So let's take a look at the likeness. The teeth are showing, the eyebrows raised, he's got the bangs, looking like he is about to annihilate the Macho Man. We're going to put this in his hand. Very cool, man. He did a great job here. So I'm going to put this in his hand, closer to the head, wrap the snake around his arm, and he is ready. And if you've ever seen the story of when he put this on Macho Man, he talks about how he smacked the snake in the head a few times to piss it off so it would really bite Macho Man. So it's almost like he's angry and his hand's getting ready to smack him to get him all fired up. All right, and last but not least, we have 1992 Jake the Snake Roberts. This is from WrestleMania 8 against The Undertaker. All right, and I think these tights are pretty damn cool. I don't think these have ever been done in figure form. Same image, typical Jake the Snake image that we saw on the 1990 release, but this one has the Python punch on the back, has the same artwork as the other one, so we can kind of just jump right into this. Right off. One thing about Mitch's figures is you're never going to have to worry about them falling off the card on their own because they are well secured. Now, same left arm, same face as the 1990, but it has the bangs and the hair from the 1991. His right arm is a pointer finger, which is pretty cool. All right, almost like he's giving a promo into the camera, just pointing right at it, talking in that low monotone voice to really get you to listen. The white tights are more like a pearl, like a little bit off-white, and then it has a naked woman right there in front of like some bluish and clouds background with a snake wrapped around her, covering up all the important parts that are going to get them flagged for WrestleMania 8 on pay-per-view. And I'm excited about this one because it has another snake inside the bag in the package, which I think is a pretty cool touch. I am hoping that it is a different snake from the 1990, but I'm kind of suspicious that it's the exact same one. However, because these two have snakes wrapped around them, if this is the same one as the 1990, I'm just going to kind of keep the bag kind of wrapped around his wrist as if he's carrying it. So we shall see. We're going to open this up. And yeah, it looks like it's the exact same one from the other, and that's okay. Because as I said, it's going to make it very different when this one is kind of chilling in the bag, but it's the exact same snake. So let's put him back in there. Got him all wound up. Probably can't get him to stay in there the way that the factory did. All right. Well, maybe I can. Another thing we could do is we could take this hand, kind of wrap this around his wrist. Kind of as if he's got it over his shoulder. So I think that's a nice touch as well. Kind of how he would do when he would make his entrance, hang in that bag right over his shoulder, Santa Claus style. You see, we're tying it all back in here. We're tying it all back in Santa Claus style. He's got the sack with the snake wrapped over his shoulder, pointing at the camera, at his opponent, Undertaker, I'm coming for you. Man, I gotta say, these are excellent. Now, if I had a retro company, Jake the Snake Roberts would not be one of these superstars at the forefront of my mind to make because, as I said, the original Jake the Snake Roberts from the Hasbro line is a Hall of Fame figure, an all-timer, and one that everybody had and loved as a kid, right? But, dare I say, These are a vast improvement from that iconic release. Now, that is not to say that the original WWF Hasbro Jake the Snake Roberts is a bad figure, because it is not by any means. However, at the time, the attention to detail really wasn't there. These were made for kids, not collectors. And these new releases are made for collectors. So, as I said, starting off, we have the 1990 Jake the Snake Roberts, followed by the 1991, finishing off with the 1992 Jake the Snake Roberts. So we have three completely different versions of Jake the Snake Roberts, and man, every single one of them is a banger. So my suggestion, if you are a fan of Jake the Snake Roberts, if you would like to have an updated retro Jake the Snake Roberts for your Hasbro collection or retro collection, head over to HastelToy.com right now. Pick them up because these are in stock and shipping now. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you for joining me. Peace. Are you a wrestling figure collector of WWE, Mattel, AEW, Jazzwares, and everything in between? Then you need Fig Heel's Wrestling Figure Encyclopedia, the modern edition covering all releases from 2010 to present day. Featuring over 7,000 photos of action figures from the hottest brands, including independent toy makers. Keep track of what you have, want, and need, including loose, mock, and overall collection value. With figure photography by Matthew Goldberg, the Wrestling Figure Encyclopedia is a must-have for collectors. Full-color paperback and hardcover editions available now at heelbooks.com. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at FigHeel. Pick up my book series on Amazon and my merchandise on ProWrestlingTees.com/FigHeel. Join my official sponsor, Whatnot, at WhatHeal.com and receive $15 off your first purchase.